Good evening, everyone. Already 6:36. People are joining. Because can we start?
Gautam, as you wish. As you wish.
Okay, okay. Just.
Gautam da start করে দিন।
संजीव मुंदा भी आ रहा है। अच्छा, गुड इवनिंग संजीव।
गुड इवनिंग गौतम दा, की खबर?
फैंटास्टिक।
खूब भालो, खूब भालो।
अभी सब ज्वाइन करने लगा। अभी सबका टाइम इंडियन टाइम है, टाइम कोई नहीं मेंटेन। 6:30 बोला, अभी 6:38 हो गया। तो हम लोग स्टार्ट करना चाहिए इमीडिएटली, क्योंकि नहीं तो इतना बड़ा सब्जेक्ट है, एक दूसरा का टाइम खा लेंगे तो प्रॉब्लम हो जाएगा फिर, क्योंकि सब सीखना है, ये प्रैक्टिकल है। सो फ्रेंड्स, गुड इवनिंग। नाउ वी 39 6:40 we start 6:40, 10 minutes tolerance. So, good evening, friends. Just I introduce our first speaker come elder brother come well-wisher, Mr. Vikash Baid. Vikash Baid co-founded Trust Capital in 2016 with an aim to provide transparent and client-centric wealth advisory services. Trust Capital has since then helped clients establish their life goals so that they are able to lead more well-rounded lives. Because passion for finance and entrepreneurship is evident from his executive MBA in the same field from Indian Institute of Management, Kolkata. Very big, IIM Kolkata. So he has over a decade of experience in the broking and wealth management space, a highly demanding role in which he excelled. Before establishing Trust Capital, he held high performance roles in HSBC and IFS investment to overseas investment advisory and relationship management for high net worth clients, because aims to fill a void in the financial markets for unbiased financial advice. Team manages associated more than 200 crore in MF distribution business and over 150 crores in alternate asset, which today he discuss about equally with AIF, you can do alternate fund. Over to Vikash, please.
Thank you, Gautam Da, for the introduction. And I welcome all of you friends out here. Since I have not made any presentation as such, so we will try and keep it more, informal and maybe in a conversational style, where we can discuss how to, build up this practice rather than just showing you one side of the story through a presentation, which very easy and very, I think, available.
Because one thing, I am recording it. If you have no objection, you have any?
Yeah, you can
because many people who are not joining, they can see also. That's why I am recording.
We aren't discussing anything as such.
Okay.
I mean, that is perfectly fine. So I assume that the audience which we have today do understand what PMS or AIF is all about, or should we go right from the introduction point? And
I think you should go right from the introduction point.
Perfectly all right. So friends, I'll just give you a brief about what PMS and AIFs are all about. So when we talk about alternates, there are many things which are available on an alternate space, but the space in which the maximum advisors are available or maximum assets are into is basically PMS and alternate investment funds. There are cryptos and there are many other assets, but we have seen what has happened. So maybe just not. When we talk about PMS is nothing but a concentrated portfolio of stocks. So we do get investors, who come to us into mutual funds. Their investments are a part of a total universe. It's more like a pool account in which the NAV is followed. You give your money to a portfolio manager or to a manufacturing company and they manage money for you. But definitely that money gets invested into stocks. But what happens contrary to that, into a PMS, that a PMS manager generally invests your money into 20 to 25 stocks. They open a demat account in your own name. So you are basically dealing directly into the stocks. You know everything what is happening into your account. At the end of the day, you come to know what stock has been bought into your account and what stock has been sold into your account. That briefly describe what PMS business is all about, how PMS is managed. In general, I mean, there are exceptions, but in general, you will not find more than 25 stocks in a single portfolio. It is a very, very concentrated and a focused strategy in which PMSs are maintained. Today, if we talk about, I think on an average, we would be having maybe 350 plus companies in India providing PMS services to you. And some of them are pretty large as well at the moment. If we talk about at least the top 20 are pretty large in their size. And alternate investment fund is something new which has come to the industry. Alternate investment fund was launched in 2012 in India. So there are basically three types of AIFs available in India at the moment: Cat 1, Cat 2 and Cat 3. So Cat 1 is predominantly a venture funding, which is more done at institutional level. The category 2 are real estate funds and private equity funds, in which large ultra HNIs or large family offices do participate. Take an example: if there is a real estate fund or someone has found up an opportunity in a real estate, maybe a manufacturer can launch a real estate fund and collect money from different investors and can invest into a real estate. Simultaneously, there are private equity funds. Pretty large players are already available into that space, maybe Kotak, Avendus, DSPs, to name a few. And the most important one, or maybe the larger one, in which advisors like us make a role, is Cat 3, which is long only equities. And there is a long short funds as well, but that we can discuss separately. Long only equities means it is just like a PMS. AIF has been brought in a PMS order, but what has happened is that it is an NAV based product. So you are getting a mutual fund in a PMS format in the role of an AIF. I'll explain you a bit in details over in our conversation in this 40 minutes. So these are the three products which are available at the moment. There is one more, which is a long and short product. Long and short is nothing but more a debt-like structure which is available. So fund manager, designs a portfolio in such a way that you get both sides of the market, that is on the long side as well as on the short side. So that is one strategy which is very much prevalent in the market at the moment. Avendus, ICICI, Tata, DSP, they're doing pretty good work in it. And this has been a very, very good category in last 2 years. A brief about the industry. In last 5 years, we all have seen, being a mutual fund distributors, that what has happened, that an industry which was 20 lakh crore has come down to almost 36 lakh crore today, debt plus equity. But an alternate industry 5 years back was 70,000 crore worth of an industry, in which approximately 40,000 was occupied by PMSs and 30,000 by AIFs. Today, this whole AIF plus PMS alternate industry is almost 7 lakh crore. So you can see which side the growth has actually come. I mean, we can keep debating about the fact that, which side is attracting most of the money, but large investors are finding themselves more comfortable in PMS and AIF strategies. And there are many reasons for it, I'll tell you. The biggest reason is transparency. PMS today are more transparent than mutual funds. AIF structures, AIFs are made in such a way that a client is bound to make a money. When I say so, most of the AIFs on a long only side comes with a 5 year, 7 year, 10 years period with lock-ins. So, the role of an advisor becomes very difficult during COVID times or in the current times when markets really fall. You have to take a balance of the client. You have to do that behavioral. You have to manage that behavioral side of a client when he is uncomfortable with the fall in the market, fall in NAVs. But there is no choice as far as the AIF is concerned. He understands it at the first place that he's getting into an agreement where your money is actually going to be locked for 5 years. And come what may, he will have a positive response. He will have a good experience, because in 5 years period, we all know that equity is actually going to make money. And it has made. There are very few AIFs and PMSs who has not done well in a 5 year period. So when you talk about experience, it has provided a very good experience as far as returns of the clients are concerned. Concentrated, yes, but high ultra HNIs do demand it. They are looking for a product which can offer them some amount of returns which are over and above a mutual fund product or any other product which they can do. And fact of the matter, we all have seen what has happened with direct and everything coming in. It is not that difficult for a client to understand things. Index funds are becoming more and more available in our markets. So competition is definitely increasing, but at the same time, if you see the alternate side of the industry, there are not many options which are there. High net worth individuals are choosing it for the sake of convenience that these products are providing them at the moment. Now, when I say about convenience is that you can put in large amount of money and knowing what is going to be bought and what is going to be sold. The fund manager is available to them at most of the times. And from advisory perspective, if you ask me what value it will add to most of you, it will help you in growing your advisory practice. So today, when you go out, the minimum requirement that an AIF or a PMS is going to have is 50 lakhs to a crore. When you take a PMS, 50 lakh is the minimum ticket that is required, and for an AIF, 1 crore is the ticket. So even if you get 50 customers or 100 customers, you know what you are actually adding to it. And most of these products, as far as AIFs are concerned, are locked in products. So your revenues, you may say, your practice, you may say, is secured in a way. And what else? Yeah, I mean, there are many products we can discuss on that front, but a brief structure, if I have to put in, yes, this is a brief structure about AIF and PMS. If anyone of you have any question, I mean, we can discuss that.
PMS also has a lock-in period?
No, I'm not saying PMS does not have most of the PMS do not have a lock-in period. There are exit loads into it, but AIFs do have.
But AIF. I want to start PMS practice. What is the process I have to follow?
No, so process is very simple. You need to get impaneled with different manufacturers who are available in the market at the moment. and take it from there. As far as the regulatory side is concerned, you need to be a PMS, I think NISM 5 or 7 passed, and you can have a distribution practice after that.
Do I have obtained the card from Pmss now?
Sorry?
Do I have to apply Pmss card?
FP?
Pmss.
No,
Like
no,
Amphi, now this is Pmss.
No, you don't have to do anything like that.
Association of Portfolio Managers of India.
Association of Portfolio Management Services for the manufacturers and not for the distributors.
Okay.
So we have no role in it. The only thing which you have to do is that SEBI has mandated that you have, just like MFI exams that we give, there is one particular exam that they have put in forward that you need to have that with you to start your PMS practice. That's all, nothing beyond that.
That is NISM 21A.
Something is there. I'm not too sure about which it is, but yes, that is it that you have to do.
Okay, thank you.
In terms of AIF, how a MFD can start AIF business? Should they impanel to whom? If a MFD wants to start AIF business, what can they do?
But as I said, you need to have your ARN number. I think being a mutual fund distributor, you already have that.
Yes.
What you do is that you need to pass that one particular exam. I mean, I can just check and pass it on to Gautam Da. That particular certification has to be done. And once that is complete, you can impanel yourself with any of the manufacturers whom you wish to distribute for.
Okay.
Sir, I'm Sanat Bharadwaj. I have 3 questions. One is that can PMS be planned in closed-ended manner also, even if it is not there? Is there any restrictions?
It can be planned. See, what happens is it depends from manufacturer to manufacturer. So I'll tell you, there are people who do it in a closed-ended structures. But what happens, see, a manufacturer will also see his merits and demerits. When you put a closed-ended tag on it, you don't get very large money into it. So some of the boutique firms, so if you ask me what we do, so we generally prefer to do this business through boutique firms. We don't do it with very large manufacturing houses. So what happens, they don't raise too much money. And at times they stop also, keeping market situations also into mind. And what do they do is they do take these closed-ended structures into hand. That what they will do is that they are taking it for 5 years period. That is the kind of an agreement that they have with the client. So take an example, if you decide to take it before that, there is an exit load of 5%. And then there is a 4%, 3%, 2%, 1%, and 0% after that. So in a way, you have bound a customer not to go out. The idea to have that is because some of these structures are going to be investing their money into small cap and mid cap strategy, where liquidity is a very big challenge. So they don't want to take a customer who can bring destruction into the whole portfolio, which we see at times into some of the mutual fund schemes, which put money into illiquid stocks. And I mean, take an example, most of the mutual fund schemes, small cap side, if you will see today, that problem is there. If they get 20% redemption in any period of time, you will see at least a drawdown of 5%. So the impact cost on an average is 5%, which is pretty huge. So that possibility is there.
Okay. One more question. PMS can invest in the schemes of mutual fund. Is this only in the book or it is in practice also?
It is in practice. There are people who do it. So what happens is there are today a lot of, in fact, we also have a PMS license now. We don't do it, but maybe over a period of time, we may do. A lot of my friends based out in Calcutta have actually launched these PMSs. So what is happening at the moment is, previous, if you ask me 3 years back, there were people who were putting money into regular plans of mutual funds, and it was a fund of fund kind of a scheme that was made into a PMS window. The idea was it is easy to manage it. The fee is not a problem and the customer is always with you. That is the whole idea with which this concept came into account. But today, with passive becoming so large, there are so many passive strategies which has come into the PMS platform. So when we talk about asset allocation, see, the only asset allocation product you have in market is balanced advantage funds. So from a PMS side, they have made asset allocation strategies. So they invest into Nifty 50 ETF, Nifty 500, S&P 500, NASDAQ, Bharat Bond, REITs, and a combination of a lot, and there are certain parameters on the basis of which they keep rebalancing it. So there are strategies, and this is a very good, I would say, practice which is getting developed at distribution level. Pretty large distribution houses, including IFAs, have taken up this practice and are building it up on that side.
Now, when it comes to fund of fund, the taxation of fund in mutual fund is of debt oriented.
Yes,
How
yes.
do you give this? Do you?
But that's not the case in ETF. That is not the case with PMS, because you are buying ETFs.
Okay. So it will remain equity in that case.
Yes. You are buying, though you are buying a passive fund, but yes, it will remain equity.
One more question. I hope it's okay.
Please go ahead.
So one more question. See, earlier we used to say like mutual fund insurance, they were competing product. Mutual fund guys used to defend a lot against insurance. Insurance used to defend a lot against mutual fund. I think going forward next decade, it will be mutual fund versus PMS. You being a PMS person, how do you see the position narratives going forward?
No, it will remain. See, I don't have a problem. I am a mutual fund distributor as well. I have a pretty large stake in mutual fund, and I still do, and I aspire to continue to do it. So there is no dichotomy of the fact as far as both of these concerned. Where I have taken a leap of faith is that I see this industry to be growing leaps and bounds, which is not going to. So I am going to face a lot of challenges as far as my mutual fund practice is concerned. I'm going to have a lot of trouble as far as scaling up this business is concerned, because revenues are going to come down drastically out that side. But PMS is a very, very interesting business, both from my advisory practice as well as from my client's perspective. Now, let's take client's perspective into account at the first, because that is the paramount. I can customize anything I want as far as the PMS is concerned. Today, if I choose a mutual fund scheme, I cannot customize cost. The only customization which can happen, he can go direct. I can offer a PMS to him at a 10 bips. That is possible. I can customize it as per his requirements. Whatever. If he says that, boss, I don't want any sin stocks in my portfolio, I can ask a fund manager not to purchase sin stocks into his account. That is possible. So customization is the key. And see, I'll tell you what has happened. What I have realized, see, we all started this practice 10, 15 years back. And what we had at that point of time as customers, they were MNIs or retail or to an extent HNIs. But most of them have become pretty large as the industry has grown in the last 15 years. An investor who used to be investing ₹1 crore with me, that crore has already become 15 to 20 crores in the last 15 years for him. So he's a large client today. His aspirations are very different. Yesterday, when we used to pitch him a product, he used to ask for a return of 12 to 15%. Today, with his risk appetite going up, he's asking for a return over and above 18%. That cannot happen in a mutual fund. Mutual fund has become a mass market product, and which is good that it should remain, because even a 500 rupees is also getting invested into a product. So someone who is putting 50 lakhs and someone who is putting 500, there has to be a difference of expectation as far as returns are concerned. And that is where the alternate industry has come into account, that is taking care of it.
One last question. Regarding compliance issue, how is the expectation of SEBI vis-a-vis PMS and mutual fund?
Compliance is more or less same. I mean, in fact, it is going to increase more on PMS side, which is not at the moment. So compliance side, mutual funds are superbly compliant product. There is no doubt about it. PMS are also compliant. It is not that they are not compliant, but the regulation is not as strict as it is in mutual fund. And that is where the returns are, if you ask me. See, what has SEBI done as far as whether good or bad, that is a subjective matter. But they have bound an fund manager. When you are going to go up into a large cap scheme, they have said, boss, you can't buy beyond these 100 stocks. When you go for a mid cap scheme, they have defined that, boss, you cannot go beyond these 500 stocks. And then 500 to 1000 as far as small cap is concerned. So they have defined whether a fund manager likes a stock, likes an idea or not. He cannot buy it if it doesn't fall into those categories. Some of those things have been taken away as far as these PMSs are concerned. And they are concentrating in building up their practices on some of these deficiencies. I do not know, that may come down maybe in a year, 2, 3, whatever, I don't know. But that possibility, of course, exists because the industry has really grown a lot now. And it is growing leaps and bounds every day, every month.
One last question. Mutual fund has got a lot of compliance issue with the inter-scheme transfer of script. When they sell in one scheme and buy, a lot of issues are there regarding accounting side. is this something to do with the PMS also, or it is the same over here?
No, that's not. But see, that is not going to happen between the schemes and all. See, what happens is a PMS is a basket of stocks which is bought for an investor. So every investor will have a different stock in their portfolio. Take an example. We both have invested into scheme, but maybe at a different point of time. So when you put that money into a mutual fund, the same kind of stocks are going to be bought for you. The only thing which is the barometer is an NAV, higher or lower. But that's not going to be the case with PMS. A PMS manager can have a different kind of a stocks and different kind of strategies for both of us at different time period. So I may have a stock in my portfolio. You may not be having that in your stock, in your portfolio. So the customization is there, keeping the market situation and everything in mind. So 60 to 65%, we both will have commonality, but the balance is going to be different. So the transfer of thing does not come into an account because everyone will have a different stocks. And if it is sold at any point of time, at the end of the day, you will come to know whether that stock has been sold or not. That is the kind of transparency which is maintained because these are demat account linked thing. So you'll get an SMS at the end of the day, this stock has been bought and this stock has been sold. So this transfer of scheme doesn't come into an account. And frankly, most PMSs manage different strategies. One is a large cap, other is a mid cap, other is in a small cap. So if your change of scheme is going to happen, a large cap stock is not going to be sold to a small cap stock. You will come to know, you have every right to be questioning that manager, boss, kiya kyun?
So one last question, and this is regarding the interest scheme I asked. No, I forgot the question. Sorry. Sorry. If I remember, then I will come back to you.
Sure.
Thank you. So nice of you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
So Vikas, Sanjeev here.
Yeah, Sanjeev bhai.
Because in case of PMS, generally, like in balance advantage fund, if the market is very high, they switch to debt. So in case of PMS, suppose the market is at the highest point and they are invested in small cap and mid cap, what do? They sell and they transfer the money to your bank. I mean, they transfer the money to debt. Is it allowed?
I'll tell you something. What happens is, see, this is one practice where most of the MFDs have come into an account. People like you and me have started some of these strategies. Okay, so when we talk about some of these asset allocation schemes, they have their own framework on the basis of which whole thing is designed. Take an example at different level. So what happens is, I know someone who has been doing it for pretty long now, maybe 2.5 years. They have 8% drawdown as a parameter to rebalance their portfolios. Okay, and that portfolio is divided into multiple funds, multiple ETFs. You will have Nifty 50, Nifty 500, Nifty Mid Cap Index. You will have Nasdaq. You will have REITs. You will have Bharat Bond, and you will have InvITs. Now they will keep changing between them. So market level is not very important. The way in which it happens in a BAF, that you reduce equity and generally increase debt and all, that is not the way in which it is done. At every 6% fall, the portfolio automatically get rebalanced. And similarly, take an example, if it goes up. So let's say you bought Nifty 50, if it goes up 8% from the level at which it has been bought, it will get rebalanced automatically at 8%. The trigger will come into account. So these are more, I would say, algo-based things. There is no manual intervention in which, all of these things get managed. There is a formula which is based and it gets triggered automatically. These are passive strategies, in short, Sanjeev. They are not managed actively the way, most of the balance fund in the industries are managed.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Yeah, one last question. In mutual fund, there's a concept of custodian where mutual fund keeps the assets with them. So what I understood from your speech just now, that you hold the portfolios or investments assets of the investor in the different demat account.
No, I'll tell you, there are custodians out here as well.
Okay.
Every PMS house has got a custodian. Sometimes it is Kotak, sometimes it's Deutsche. The most common one is Vistara ITCL. So what is the job of a custodian? The custodian actually manages your money. So the money which you have given to a manufacturer is there with the custodian. And demat account is in the name of you as an investor. So whenever a fund manager is going to be purchasing any stock, the money will go from the custodian account. The stock will come to a demat account. The day he sells any stock, the stock is going to go away from the demat account. The money is going to come to the custodian account. And custodian account is also maintained on your name. They have a power of attorney to maintain it for the execution. So that way, that transparency is managed at super level, I can tell you. I mean, some of the best guys are there in the business.
So it's the same way that I think the mutual fund handles it. No?
I think in mutual funds case, the stocks and money both remains with the custodian. There is no demat account concept which is there.
Yes, it is not there. Yes. Yeah, thank you. Perfect. Great.
Because is there any difference between structured product and PMS?
Yes, there is a lot of stuff. See, structured products are more capital guarantee products which are made by one more thing
with the voice.
which I think you guys should have asked that why should an MFD start an I'm not in the
Voice cracking.
Voice crack.
am I audible?
Yes, now
Yes,
audible.
no.
Okay. So I will say the question which most of you should have asked is that why should you as an MFD start alternate practice anyway? We all have been doing mutual fund practice or your insurance practice or else that last 10, 15, 20 years. The industry, we all are sure of that this industry is actually going to grow. So why to take faith and start practice? So I tell you why I did it. So it was not that we were very aggressive in alternate side 2.5 years back. But post-COVID, we became very aggressive. Possibly in India, trying to build practice of more than 100 crores. So I tell you, see, some of these large guys who are doing it, you should take into account people like wealth counters, wealth businesses. They have this business more than most of us. If they have taken a leap of faith and have come in, this industry is going to grow leaps and bounds. I'm telling you, from here on, this industry will become 5 times what it is today. It's not your choice. But your clients are actually going to buy AIFs and PMSs. If not from you, from somebody else. They are actually buying. You go and ask them. They are actually buying. Someone who has got a portfolio of more than 5 crores, he is doing a PMS, he is doing an AIF. They are more customized, more compliant product. Try to understand why it is happening. Just one example. What happens when you put money in a mutual fund? That money gets invested into 60 to 100 stocks. Have you ever seen how much returns a scheme has generated over and above the benchmark? Average. There are outliners and there will always be outliners. But in general, when we talk about not a single experience that you will find where you have generated more than 300 basis points. That's the average return. It is a great experience. I mean, 300 was a great product, but PMSs are generating close to 700 basis points. They are not benchmark hugging. Most of the mutual fund, unfortunately, benchmark. You talk to a manager, he will come and say, "Boss, my job is to report on a daily basis. But I've bought something different. You're not going to be putting money tomorrow to my scheme, which is not PMS. He's going to buy different kind of a scheme." So from a diversification perspective, also you should be having some of these. You get
Vikas, voice कम आ रहा है विकास. थोड़ा voice
check.
Voice breaking.
थोड़ा check कर.
Is it?
कैमरा ऑफ करके बात करें तो शायद बेटर हो पाएगा.
एक मिनट. संजीव बेटर है अभी?
हाँ, yes.
हाँ, अभी clear हुआ है.
Okay. So try to understand key differentiator क्या है? See, the key differentiator out here is the portfolio. आप अपने 5 पोर्टफोलियो म्यूचुअल फंड के उठा के किसी चेन या मॉर्निंग स्टार या किसी भी सॉफ्टवेयर में डालिए और पोर्टफोलियो की कॉमनैलिटी ढूंढिए. मैं चैलेंज कर सकता हूं, you will find 80% commonality between schemes. If it is a multi-cap scheme, if it is a small cap scheme, or if it is a large cap scheme, 80% commonality है. But आप PMS में जाएंगे वो नहीं मिलेगा. बहुत डिफरेंट तरीके से पोर्टफोलियो बिल्ड होते हैं. So from a diversification perspective also it will add value to a customer. जो सबसे important है boss, 50 lakhs to a crore what you are getting, and if you get 10 customers you add 10 crore to your AUM. If you get 100 customers you add 100 crore to your AUM. This is business. And some of these people who come to you or who will be giving this money are smart investors. They understand market. They won't bother us as much as questions we get on a regular basis. I'm not saying that they will not question, but out of my experience, I can tell you that they don't question you so much. They understand market themselves. They know, and you know, people who do talks, वो kick मिलता है from market. What has been bought, what has not been bought, when it was sold, why it was sold, and fund managers are also free.
Sir, voice is breaking, sir. Voice is breaking. Voice is breaking, sir.
Achha, let me just check once.
Noise
Give me
is coming. Noise is coming.
Relogging, please. Relogging, please. Sanjeev, very insightful.
हाँ, उसको विकास has got good command. उसको बहुत knowledge है.
Very insightful.
In fact, we as MFDs we have to think about
Yes.
taking this exam and taking it forward.
That's why I am taking the initiative to do the exam procedure training for PMS and alternate fund. And Sanojji is the trainer.
Okay, Sanad Bharadwaj.
Sanoj जी, हाँ. वो हम लोग का सबसे दोस्त है, ऐसा है. वो ट्रेनर से ज्यादा दोस्त है.
हाँ, सनत जी तो पुराना पहचान है उनसे तो. हाँ, ठीक बात.
तो ये इसलिए देखिए, ये जो क्लैरिटी करने के लिए सनत जी पूछ रहा है कि सबका क्लैरिटी है प्रोडक्ट के बारे में.
ये बहुत अच्छा प्रोडक्ट है. वही है कि हम लोग को सेलेक्ट करना पड़ेगा किस क्लाइंट को बेचना है, because we cannot. This is not a mass product. This is an.
No, you have to understand. I'll tell you, Sanjeev, how I do it, which we have personally interacted many a times on this subject. I'll tell you how you should be doing it. The basic framework or the first filter that you have to put in. First filter is any client who has got 5 crore is the right candidate to be offered these products. Hello?
Yeah, voice clear अभी I think.
Yeah,
voice clear?
Yeah, voice एकदम clear है.
हाँ.
Gautam, please mute others' voice.
Yeah.
Please mute.
Gautam da mute करो दूसरे लोगों को.
How do you see, sir, going forward, this ticket size of 50 lakh could be compromised, could be reduced, something like that?
No, not at all. It was 25 lakhs. They've brought it to 50 lakhs. See, the idea is why Baid is doing it. See, this is a specialized product. It is not made for masses. What will happen if you reduce the size? See, when PMS started in this country in 93, I think, it started with 5 lakh rupees. So Enam and Alchemy started it with 5 lakh rupees. Then in 2003, Motilal came, they started it with 10 lakh rupees. Then it became 25 lakh rupees. Today it is 50 lakh. Possibly it will become 1 crore, maybe in a year or two.
ठीक बात है, सही, right.
But I tell you, when it was 25 lakh rupees, जितना size नहीं था, वो 50 lakh होने के बाद में वो size आ गया.
Among the profile of new participant, new customer, do you have more clients like who gives a single check 50 lakhs rupees, or you have a client who commits a staggered way of payment, or you have a client who clubs securities and cash together? What kind of profile you see in the?
I would say all of them. So there are people who give 50 single shot because that's the bare minimum that you have to have, because you can't have this product otherwise. There are people who give stocks, and there are people who say that I want to go staggered, come what may. So it depends, and people are very flexible that way. See, I'll tell you, this alternate business is very customized, not from the cost perspective, but from the execution perspective also. You can get anything that you want. They have made it in such a way. So I think there are many, if you look at the merits, advantage versus disadvantage, I think alternate industry has got a lot of advantages to be a part of. I mean, if we don't choose to be a part of it, believe me, I mean, you will regret not being a part of it 5 years down the line. I mean, think about it. Why would we have on an average close to 350 manufacturers in this country offering these services? Why would we have in excess of 1,000 AIFs available in market? And keep in mind that each AIF cannot take more than 1,000 customers. That is the maximum SEBI permitted. AIF cannot take more than 1,000 customers in single scheme.
There's a bar. 1,000 is the maximum.
1,000 PAN is the bar. That's all. 1,000 से ज़्यादा आप नहीं ले सकते हो.
Okay.
So, but रोज देखो कोई ना कोई आता है. रोज पैसा आ रहा है. सबको पैसा मिल रहा है. तो बस कहीं से तो आ रहा है ना ये पैसा यार.
पैसा तो मार्केट में उड़ता है विकास, उसको पकड़ना है, बोलते हैं ना, पैसा मार्केट में उड़ता है, उसको पकड़ना है.
Those money is moving out of mutual funds to some of these assets, unfortunately. Smart investor, family offices, large clients have realized it. That boss, we will not be able to make above average returns. The above average lies here. और उसका रीजन है ना सिंपल. तुम सोच बस आज 12,000 करोड़ की अपनी SIP बुक है. So a manufacturer has a responsibility towards them. The risk profile of a person who is putting 1 crore rupees and the risk profile of an individual who is putting 1,000 rupees is completely different. Experience, expectations are also very different. So वो जाके कैसे risk ले सकता है बॉस? उसको उसकी कंपनी का risk, उसका compliance officer या risk management team कैसे permit करेगी उस तरह का risk लेने के लिए? तो फिर returns कैसे आएगा बॉस? ये 200 basis point गए तो गेम करेगा?
अल्फा 300 से ज्यादा हो नहीं सकता एक्चुअली. मैक्स टू मैक्स
नहीं हो सकता. See, I don't have that presentation unfortunately, वरना मैं दिखाता. In last 10 years, which mutual fund has given you in excess of 28% return? Last 10 years.
Okay.
It is Nippon Small Cap.
Nippon Small Cap. Okay.
Right? तो भाई तुमको कैसे पता चलेगा गुरु यही वो एक स्कीम है, अकेली स्कीम है जिसने किया है, और वो भी पिछले 10 साल में किया है जिसमें इतना उतार चढ़ाव आया. PMS साइड पे तेरे को कम से कम 15 स्कीम मिलेगी who has done in excess of 30%. तो जब स्मॉल कैप में तुम रिस्क लिया तो तुम ऑल्टरनेट साइड वालों का भी रिस्क लिया होगा वैसा ही जिसने पैसा कमाया. तो चॉइस तो है बिटवीन एन इन्वेस्टर. व्हाट यू वांट टू चूज? सी वी आर हियर टू ऑफर products. My job is not to say whether a PMS is a better platform to invest or a mutual fund is a better platform, because I practice both of them. But from diversification perspective, I must have both of them to offer to an investor and let him choose which is the best one as per his risk profile, as per his expectation. Why you should not be having it in your kitty? That's my point.
Absolutely.
विकास, जैसे पीएमएस में 20-25 स्टॉक्स का कॉन्सेंट्रेटेड पोर्टफोलियो ज्यादातर होता है, वैसे एआईएफ में इन्वेस्टमेंट के पैटर्न्स क्या होते हैं? वहां पे किस तरह का इन्वेस्टमेंट्स होता है? और
तेरे को बोला ना, एआईएफ इज नथिंग but a copycat of a PMS. See, what happens is PMS में compliances बहुत है. You know, if you open an account of a PMS, if it is a private limited company or a family trust or anything, the documentation is like crazy because you have to open a bank account, you have to open a demat account. So you have to have a lot of documentation in process to get that open. The same thing what AIF does is that you can open an AIF just like a mutual fund. You don't have to go through so much of paperwork and everything. It is a product which is NAV based. So जो PMS का पोर्टफोलियो है वो सेम पोर्टफोलियो तेरे को AIF में स्ट्रक्चर्ड करके मैन्युफैक्चरर दे देता है. So you save that. And सबसे important factor जो आता है CAT free platforms पे, these are tax free products. So whatever money yes,
tax free products.
CAT 3 long only portfolios जो होते हैं AIFs के, वो tax free होते हैं. Tax is done at trust level. So AIF में trust होता है which manages all the money. So whatever money that you will earn, it is going to be taxed at the trust level. And when whatever that you are getting back is tax free at your level. So तेरे level पे hassle नहीं है कुछ भी तरह का. Whatever that you gave and whatever that you got back, bas, that's it. You don't have to maintain any paperwork, any taxation, anything at your level. Everything is taken at a fund level. So you take away all the hassle of investing and managing that side. Operational side is taken care.
आपने जो रिसीव किया, आपका प्रॉफिट है, लॉस है, जो भी है, आपको कोई टैक्सेशन का इश्यू नहीं है कुछ.
बिल्कुल, because tax जो होता है वो वहां पे होता है, फंड लेवल पे.
वहीं पे होता है, ट्रस्ट लेवल पे हो जाता है वो.
But in a PMS it is at client level, not at fund level. So that is one.
Short term, long term जो भी है.
हाँ. And second, I tell you, if you look at the churn ratio of PMSs, जब अपने बोलते हैं ना कि buy and hold, this is something which we keep preaching to all our customers. Long term is the only value. So boss, go and see your portfolios and look at their churn ratios. वो लोग कितना hold करते हैं? जिस मैनेजर को
टर्नओवर, पोर्टफोलियो टर्नओवर बहुत हाई है किसी किसी में.
नहीं, एवरेज क्या है बॉस? अपने एमएफ इंडस्ट्री पे एवरेज क्या है?
Don't know, I mean.
30% डिटेल. It's beyond 30%, 30% प्लस है. 30% तेरा पोर्टफोलियो, मैं तेरे को एकदम सोबर साइड बता रहा हूँ. 50 भी मिलेंगे. 30% तेरा. और एवरेज में पीएमएसएस में मैं ये नहीं कहूंगा सारे के सारे, बट मोस्ट पीएमएसएस जो है उनका चर्न रेशियो तेरे को 10% से ज्यादा नहीं मिलेगा. So they actually be, and you can see it now. See what happens is it is a fact sheet which keeps changing. But in a PMS, boss, you have the portfolio with you. The demat statement is with you, which is a reflection of the fact whether the stocks are there or not. So when we say it's actually going to be made in a long term, and if you have bought a structural story, then sit with it, bloody. How can a story change in 3 months? तुम टोमेटो लिया कि बहुत स्टोरी बहुत बड़ी है, 3 महीने बाद बेच दिया, खत्म हो गई स्टोरी. So you can actually evaluate that way, and you can your managers also. I mean, it is a beautiful exercise because we have done it over the years, and I've realized it कि actually में हो क्या रहा है. And reason तेरे को बताता हूँ. उसका सबसे बड़ा reason है there is a very large amount of money which is there, and these are very seasoned people who put money in some of these products.
Okay.
They know everything happening. And anybody who's putting 10, 15, 20 crores there, he knows more than both of us.
Fine. सही बात है. Kind of knowledge हो गया, बहुत knowledge.
हाँ, and they add their portfolios, man. You go to anybody, you'll come and you'll get an idea whether they're doing it or not. I mean that's my basic precise. That why we should be doing it. And then see, if you think your customers are actually needing it, go and evaluate it, talk to them. You'll come to know whether it is worth it or not, rather than just knowing this fact कि नहीं बस अपने को तो करने का ही नहीं. It's too risky a product.
Right. Slowly, मतलब हम लोग धीरे-धीरे हम लोग को सीख लेना चाहिए, और इसका मार्केट बहुत बड़ा होने वाला है, ये समझ में आ रहा है.
I'm sure you must be experiencing by talking to your customers. Some of them must be calling you to tell you कि बस ये PMS करने का या ये मैंने किया है.
Okay. हो रहा है, ये हो रहा है, once in a while ये हो रहा है.
Yes, because when I talk to my MFD friends, most of them call me and tell me कि बस ये हो रहा है, क्या करने का है. There are people I at least receive one call a day telling me कि यार इससे empanelment करना है, किससे बात करनी है. तो क्यों हो रहा है? बस वो इसीलिए हो रहा है ना, because उसको पता चल रहा है ना. It's becoming more and more aware, यार. And most of the good fund managers that we had, यार, are setting up their own shop in PMSs. कोई तो reason होगा यार.
तो विकास, जैसे म्यूचुअल फंड को ट्रैक करने के लिए हमारे पास इंजन होता है, उससे हमारा इंजन है और कुछ सॉफ्टवेयर होते हैं, इससे हमको क्लैरिटी आ जाती है. यहाँ पे कुछ नहीं है ना.
तुमको अपनी मेहनत करनी पड़ेगी दोस्त इसके लिए.
अपनी मेहनत करनी पड़ेगी, क्योंकि पता नहीं है ना कौन सा बेटर है, क्या है, नहीं है, कौन सा लार्ज कैप है, कौन सा मिड कैप है.
PMS बाजार एंड ऑल है, ऐसा नहीं है कि नहीं है, बट I mean how can you rely on them? So these are not SEBI verified kind of a things now. Every month SEBI, I think every month या every quarter SEBI puts these return sheet on their website. जितने जितने PMS है सबकी रिटर्न्स उसका एक 1 पेजर सेबी में अपलोड होता है. That can be in a way draft to have a look at some of these things. Maximum, not beyond.
खुद का होमवर्क खुद को ही करना पड़ेगा बेसिकली.
हाँ, अभी तक तो ऐसा ही है, बिकॉज वो सेबी ने उस तरह से डिफाइन नहीं किया है ना कि भाई तुम सारे के सारे डाल दो उसमें. बट हो सकता है ओवर द इयर्स, जैसे अभी सनत जी बोल रहे थे, कोई आई थिंक कोई बोल रहा था ना कि कोई एसोसिएशन है, सो दैट इज एसोसिएशन ऑफ मैन्युफैक्चरर्स. वो हो सकता है वो मैंडेट कर दें कि भाई सारी के सारी पब्लिक व्यू में डाल दीजिए रिटर्न्स, so that people can compare and all. Maybe over the years ये भी आ जाए, why not? Possible आना. But there are independent people who are doing it. PMS Bazaar, PMS AIF, they are doing it. You can get it from.
Good Vikas, good. Right.
Anything else, Gautam da?
बहुत ये एक दिन में नहीं होगा बस. ये तो बहुत मांग रहा है, दिल तो बहुत मांग रहा है और कुछ जानने के लिए. बहुत मांग रहा है कि इसमें दम है, बहुत कुछ है. ये अगला दिन तो हमारा AIF फ्रेटर्निटी के लिए यही बड़ा मौका है खुद का अपडेट करने के लिए. ये जरूरी है.
Gautam da, I mean, we as independent distributors need to understand the need of the hour. अपने को ये समझना should not be have too much about anything. जो बाजार में बिकेगा अपने को तो वही बेचने का है. हाँ, what we should sell should be good enough for a. I mean, I will not come and tell you कि boss go and sell cryptos.
Yes.
Or go liquid loans for that matter, because I don't understand them.
Yes.
But this is thing which is corollary to the fact whatever that we are doing. So कम से कम diversification के perspective से तो होना चाहिए.
Yes.
Perfectly. Okay.
And last after pandemic, in between pandemic, म्यूचुअल फंड का ग्रोथ और PMS का ग्रोथ, PMS AIF का ग्रोथ मार्केट साइज से तो बहुत ज्यादा है. PMS अल्टरनेट फंड का
20 times.
और म्यूचुअल फंड का,
म्यूचुअल फंड अपने सामने है. एवरीडे नंबर आते हैं. अभी कितना 36 लाख करोड़ की इंडस्ट्री है अपनी. 2 साल पहले मेरे ख्याल से कितनी थी? We were what? Maybe 25 लाख करोड़.
उससे कम ही था
मेरे ख्याल से 25.
20
आप समझो इक्विटी 8 या 9 लाख करोड़ था, इक्विटी 15 लाख करोड़ हुआ है अभी.
हाँ.
Whereas PMS AIF तो practically 80%, at least PMS तो 100% इक्विटी है.
Yes.
AIF 60-65% होगा. तो सारा पैसा इक्विटी का.
इसका ग्रोथ कितना हुआ लास्ट 2 साल में?
देखो लास्ट 2 साल बोलना टफ होगा, बट मे बी आई एम मोर देन श्योर कि एटलीस्ट 300-400% तो पक्का होगा. 5 years back it was 70,000 crore.
Yes.
Today it's 7 lakh crore.
Oh.
7 lakh crore. Oh my goodness.
That is the size of an
70,000 से 7 lakh crore. And it will be
अरे बॉस, I'll put it this way. 2 साल पहले मार्शलस शुरू हुआ था. 2 years back मार्शलस, सौरभ मुखर्जी started his own PMS.
Yes.
That PMS की साइज आज के दिन है 16,000 crore rupees.
My goodness.
3 years back Sunil Singhania started Abacus. Abacus manages close to 10,000 crore today.
म्यूचुअल फंड कहाँ है इसका?
म्यूचुअल फंड भी ग्रो किया.
अरे वो तो बहुत बड़ा बोल के बहुत कुछ करके हुआ है, लेकिन
म्यूचुअल फंड इज अ great product. I mean, it's a great product. There is no doubt about it. But what we have to understand as MFDs is that there are products which are picking up the market. So our job is to identify them, be with them, and ensure that our clients are a part of that story. I mean, आज आपका अगर 80% म्यूचुअल फंड में लगा है तो 20% तो बस ऑल्टरनेट में डालो. बैलेंस तो होना चाहिए ना पोर्टफोलियो.
Yes.
That's the idea. I'm not saying put 100% into it. बस हमने ही नहीं डाला तो आपको कैसे बोल देंगे?
Yes.
But have a balance of it. क्योंकि अगर आप नहीं करेगा, you take it from me, हमारे जैसा लोग ले जाएगा आपसे.
Yes.
आपका क्लाइंट
बड़े क्लाइंट को ले जाए. क्लाइंट तो करेगा, कहीं ना कहीं तो कर रहा है क्लाइंट, बड़े क्लाइंट तो कर रहे हैं.
Take an example, boss. Most of us are in this practice for the last 15 years. Correct? 15 नहीं तो 10 years तो पक्का है.
Yes.
हाँ, एवरेज तो होगा. हाँ.
12 साल पहले एक कंपनी खुली थी IIFL Wealth. वो कहां पहुंच गए और हम कहां रह गए? अरे भाई, उन्होंने कुछ तो हमसे दूरदर्शी की तरह सोचा होगा ना. They had some vision. They thought something different. They created products for this market.
Yes.
And who is selling these products today? PMS and AIF. They are the people who are selling it. So यार, अगर
think apart, something think apart वाली बात है. Think apart करना ही पड़ेगा. Choice.
I'll give you one other perspective. Think from the revenue side, which is very important to both of us, maybe most of us.
Yes. Yes.
And client को भी पता है बॉस, क्लाइंट क्यों डायरेक्ट जा रहे हैं. बॉस, कॉस्ट बहुत है. 80 पैसा में MF मिलता है, तुमको 1.5 रुपया क्यों देंगे? What value you are adding to me? Fair point, boss. I'm not adding value. तुम जा सकते हो. Value over a period of time demonstrate होगी. The same PMS you can give him at 80 पैसा. वहां पर भी डायरेक्ट का ऑप्शन है, बट गैप इतना बड़ा नहीं है. तेरी रिलेशनशिप की भी वैल्यू होगी. 25 bips, 30 bips. You can do flexible fee system, 0 fee. प्रॉफिट शेयरिंग करेंगे खाली. विन विन दोनों के लिए. 8% का हर्डल, 15% का फीस. अगर 15% क्लाइंट को कमा के देता है, जोड़ ले. ओवर ए लॉन्गर टर्म यू आर द विनर. एंड यू हैव स्किन. You have skin in the game, which we keep saying, na, skin in the game, skin in the game. You have a skin in the game. If the client is going to make money, then only the manufacturer is going to make money. Then only a distributor is going to make money. अरे बॉस, और छाती फाड़ के राम जी को थोड़ी दिखानी है. इससे बेसी और क्या इससे बेसी और क्या प्रूफ देगा अपना और अपने आप का? इससे बड़ा क्या प्रूफ देगा? बता मुझे.
Very true.
Very true, very true.
That can be done with this product, which you can't do, unfortunately. So that, and if you ask me, this is the biggest selling point that we have. Most of the banks or national distributors जिनके customers हमारे पास आते हैं, उसका रीजन ये की है कि बहुत 2.5% की फीस पे माल बेचा हुआ है. हम उसको 0 फीस पे देते हैं. हमको नहीं चाहिए फीस बॉस. आप पैसा बनाएगा, हमको पैसा बन जाएगा. And if you take into account 10-year experience, मतलब you cannot imagine the kind of a fees that you can generate. वो क्लाइंट को पता चलेगा तो देगा भी नहीं. 15% एवरेज रिटर्न अपने एक्सपेक्ट करते हैं ना बॉस. 15 - 8 into 15% करके देख ले 15 साल में तेरा कितना बनता है.
Good, right.
So you have to think, I mean, differently. Unfortunately क्या हो रहा है ना, वो दूसरी साइड जो है ना, उसके बियॉन्ड हम सोचना नहीं चाहते हैं, या लोग सोचने देने की कोशिश नहीं करने दे रहे हैं. एटलीस्ट छोटे IFAs को, अनफॉर्चुनेटली मे बी एक्सपोजर्स नहीं है. Maybe they are not a part of the larger, I would say, gully. You and me can interact on a regular basis, can know from each other what is happening and all, but there is a large market which is beyond cities. And most of these assets in alternate market, mind you, I'm telling you, is coming from the lower cities, Raipur, Ahmedabad, Lucknow. It is not from Calcutta. We get maximum money from Raipur, not from Calcutta.
Tier 2 cities में बहुत पैसा है.
बहुत पैसा है. And they know what is it. उसको रिस्क लेना है, उसको समझ में आता है क्लाइंट को. And it is in right perspective that you are giving it. So there is a market. It is not that it is not restricted. I am telling you, boss, go interior. COVID के time में we raised one of the highest possible. I remember from Bardhaman. अब कौन सोचता है बॉस, कौन आदमी जाता है बर्धमान? कौन सा एक्सिस बैंक वाला बैंकर जाएगा वहां? या कोई भी, for that matter, we should not be naming only one that way. So you have to find your own place, yaar. We will remain relevant. I mean, is that what I'm trying to tell you?
Good, Vikas, good यार. Nice inspiration talk and अच्छा लग रहा है सुन के, और implement करना होगा.
I'm sharing facts with you, yaar. I mean, all I'm trying to tell you is that if you don't choose to be a part of alternates, you are missing a very large kitty. And you'll realize it. Mark my words, you'll realize maybe in a year or two, if you're not realizing it today. Because the size is so big.
Because thank you so much. Very insightful. Very. अब ये सेकेंड डे लेना पड़ेगा बस. नेक्स्ट प्रोग्राम में आपको आना पड़ेगा फिर, क्योंकि इसमें हम लोग को दिल पूरा तो ले लिया, लेकिन और कुछ चाहिए. ये इतना. राकेश जी कुछ बताएंगे आप?
सर गौतम दास शर्ट का कॉलर खड़ा हो गया. इन ब्रीफ इनको तो दोबारा बुलाना पड़ेगा. कोशिश अगर जूत रहे तो तीसरी बार भी बुलाएंगे.
हाँ.
मिस्टर विकास को.
Any time, sir. I mean, I'm one of you. I mean, it is not that I'm not out of context. I'm one of you. And
thank you, sir. Thank you.
If anything can change to any of you, I mean, there cannot be anything better than that.
Need a lot of guidance from
grow
you.
Along with each other.
That's why I'm telling you, need a lot of guidance from you regarding PMS and AIF.
No, sir, you are most welcome. You can call me up at any point of time. I'll be more than happy to help you. If any of you face any issues as far as empanelment with anybody is concerned, do reach me out. I mean, I'm sure I can play a role if I can play.
Thank you very much.
This is actually helpful for everybody. This is helpful. And that's why राकेश जी आप जानते नहीं हैं, ये हमारा जो 20 अप्रैल हम लोग कलकत्ता में HHI में प्रोग्राम किया, तो उसमें हम 41 डिस्ट्रीब्यूटर को अवार्ड किया था. तो ये हम विकास भाई को इसलिए अवार्ड दिया है, ये अल्टरनेट फंड में ये दिशा दिखा रहा है हमारे ईस्टर्न जोन में कोई MFD नहीं किया है, इसलिए इसी वजह से उनको दिया है. संजीव आप जानते हैं ना, यहाँ ये विकास को इसी वजह से दिया है कि इनके पास हमको सीखना है. इसका सब देखो कैसे किया है, सब तो हम लोग म्यूचुअल फंड में भाग रहा है, इसके साथ पैरेलल क्या किया है. वो ऐसा नहीं है कि म्यूचुअल फंड छोड़ दिया ये कर रहा है, ऐसा नहीं है. म्यूचुअल फंड भी कर रहा है, ये भी कर रहा है पैरेलली.
I will again say गौतम दा, see म्यूचुअल फंड हमारा बच्चा है, हम लोग उसी के साथ बड़ा हुआ है, और क्या बुढ़ापा भी वही पार लगाएगा. बट इसका मतलब ये नहीं है यार कि साथ में कुछ और नहीं करेंगे.
बात सही है, एकदम सही है.
क्यों कि अगर वो बूढ़ा हो जाएगा ना तो साला चलेगा भी तो धीरे धीरे फिर. तो जवान साथ में चाहिए.
तो ये विकास जी आपको जानकारी दिए बोला है, ये जो सनोज जी है, सनोज जी तो बहुत दिन से आप जानते हैं ये ट्रेनिंग कराता है. तो हम लोग एक बैच ऑलरेडी 2-3 बैच PMS का बैच किया है, जिसमें एग्जाम क्लियर करने के लिए 21A 21B पेपर जो है, डिस्ट्रीब्यूटर के लिए 21A एंड जो MC पीपल के लिए 21B. तो ये हम लोग ट्रेनिंग करा रहा है. एक बैच अभी जो राकेश जी देख रहे हैं वो एक बैच का बंदा है. यहीं पे बहुत सारा बंदा है जो अभी क्लास कर रहा है PMS के लिए. क्योंकि PMS का जो नॉर्म्स है सितंबर 23 में इसका खत्म हो जाएगा, ERN से चलेगा. उसके पहले आज समझ लीजिए आपका ERN आज रिन्यू करना है, तो अभी आपका वो खत्म हो गया, रिन्यू में आपका PMS भी एग्जाम क्लियर करना पड़ेगा.
करेक्ट.
तो इसलिए किसका रिन्यू करना पड़ेगा वो पता नहीं है. इसलिए हम सबको बोल रहे हैं जो PMS का काम करना चाहता है ऑलरेडी कर रहा है, तो आपका PMS सर्टिफिकेशन जरूरी है, नहीं तो आपका पैसा नहीं मिलेगा.
You can't do it. मतलब empanelment से नहीं होंगे आपके. अभी तक तो इसलिए हो जा रहे हैं because आपका certificate is working for you.
Yes.
But आपके empanelment से नहीं होंगे. Rather मेरे ख्याल से आपको empanelment शायद ना भी ले.
Yes.
Because so short now, शायद empanelment ना ले उसके बिना लोग.
Yes. वही होने वाला है. सभी तो one fine funding बोल देंगे हो जाएगा.
नहीं वो होना भी चाहिए ना. Why should it not be? It should be regulated. There is nothing wrong.
Yes. So that's why we are take care of for these PMS certification courses. Anybody want to please tell them, we are ready to help them to clear the exam for PMS. तो आज आपको तो छाड़ना ही पड़ेगा क्योंकि आप इतना सारा दे दिया आज. हम लोग तो आपको याद तो ये जितना लोग आया है, और इसलिए हम रिकॉर्ड किया कि ये बहुत आदमी मेरे को बोला वो नहीं घुस पाया. तो ये विकास सिंह बोला, ये बोला आपका तो जो फैन लोग है बहुत वो नहीं घुस पाया, तो बोल रहा है हाँ हमारा रिकॉर्ड किया है, आपको मिल जाएगा, कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है.
नहीं श्योर वैसा कुछ इशू नहीं है. वी कैन ऑलवेज डू इट यार. आई मीन इसमें ऐसा है ही नहीं. वी आर फ्रेंड्स यार. वी आर ऑलवेज अवेलेबल गौतम दा.
नहीं ये तो ठीक है क्योंकि आज का टाइम सबके लिए सबसे बड़ा बात टाइम होना चाहिए, क्योंकि आज तो फ्री नहीं है कि आप इतना सारे इन्वेस्टर को टाइम देना पड़ता है, तो इसलिए वो टाइम अलग से निकलना ही पड़ता है. So anyway, thank you so much. I think राकेश जी आप थोड़ा ऑनर दे दीजिए क्योंकि आप सबसे राकेश जी कहाँ पे रहते हैं पूछ लीजिए एक बार. ओ राकेश जी थोड़ा बताइए.
I am from Rohtak, sir. Rohtak in Haryana.
Okay.
75 kilometers from Delhi.
Okay.
On National Highway number 10.
Okay. Lovely.
I entered in this finance industry just 3 years back.
Okay.
And I'm doing just now insurance as well as mutual fund.
उसके पहले क्या किया वो तो बताइए तो अब तो पता चलेगा.
I was in import export industry.
Okay.
And I travel more than 150 countries.
Lovely. So you have vast experience.
Vast experience in marketing.
Sir, माली तो बेचना है सबको.
Give me just a minute. कोई गेट पर आया है.
Sure.
इनका लड़का भी बहुत बड़ा है, बहुत.
So this is my second inning, basically.
And it is good, sir. It is very inspiring, you know.
आपका लड़का क्या कर रहा है वो बताइए तो अब तो इन लोग को पता चलेगा.
I have 2 children, both are in IT industry. My daughter is in IBM and my son is in Deloitte.
Wonderful. सबसे ज्यादा भटके हुए वही लोग हैं सर. Go ahead and guide them. आपको पुण्य भी मिलेगा, पैसे भी मिलेंगे.
It is very difficult to handle young generation.
No,
they have their own parameters in their mind.
So that need to be changed. That is what I am trying to tell you. कि सबसे ज्यादा भटके हुए वही हैं. Because I deal with some of those customers. That's why I am saying you. बाकी कहीं फोकस ही नहीं करने का, उन्हें उधर ही जाने का. बच्चों के साथ भी रहेंगे. इसीलिए तो बोल रहा हूं सर, मिलेगा पैसे भी मिलेंगे.
That is true. मैं तो बेटे को बोला था कि मेरी डिलाइट में एक IAF करवा दे.
हाँ बिल्कुल.
I am trying for that. क्योंकि अभी ऑफिस पूरा शुरू नहीं हुए. I think within 1 month office will start in a proper manner. Then I will do IAP in IBM as well as in Deloitte.
Yeah, you should be doing it, sir. I mean, they are one of the large investors in the market. I can tell you at the moment, all across. और मतलब आपको काफी insights मिलेगा. I can tell you the way in which they are doing it.
पर आपसे ज्यादा का इंसाइट कोई देने वाला नहीं है आज की डेट में. जो इंसाइट आपने दिया है ना, nobody can do.
ऐसा नहीं है सर. I'll tell you, because we mentor a lot of such investors. Some of them are friends. Some of them come through friends.
Yes.
So I give you an example that, you know, one of my good friend, he started a company 7-8 years back. He has sold it to Amazon now. So अब ये सर उनके अंदर गाइडेंस कितनी कमी है. He sold his company for $4 million. और उसका लगभग शायद 8-7 करोड़ रुपया ग्रो के थ्रू लगा हुआ है. वो उसी के थ्रू इन्वेस्ट करता है. उसको मजा आता है. बोलता है ठीक है यार, चल रहा है ना, क्या करने का. जिस दिन उसको $4 मिलियन आया ना सर अमेज़न से, वो सबसे पहले मेरे को ही फोन किया. बोला बता अभी क्या करने का है. So the answer lies in my statement. उनको सर आपकी सरकार है. And it is a very large market. So some of the MFD friends that we have in Bangalore, they especially cater to some of these young kids. Sanjeev must be knowing it more. I think this year we are doing, I think, MFRD in Bangalore only. So a lot of those advisors will be a part of it. But I know Priya, they have worked really hard in building up this side of it. They've done really good work.
You're talking about Peak Alpha, no? You're talking about Peak Alpha.
Peak Alpha, yes.
They are one of the, they're coming to for the presentation.
So Priya, I know they've done really good mentoring to some of these people. They
Young
have
generation.
pretty good base they've built out of it. So since your kids are there, I think you have a very strong starting point. I think you capitalize on it.
I will try. I will try.
And I think I'm done, Gautenda, for the day.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you once again for your insightful session. And further, I call you for the session because
Sure.
need more session. So today is now second now Sonot sir hai. So please I hand it over to Sonot sir directly.